As Vladimir Putin prepares for war, his no-limits friend Xi Jinping is taking notes. China launched extensive military drills today. Hundreds of warships and aircraft were deployed. Beijing's agenda? A blockade of Taiwan.
Tensions are running high in the Taiwan Strait as China launched significant joint military exercises encircling Taiwan.
There is one country that is making the most of the war in Ukraine, and that's China. While Europe is distracted and focused on containing Russia, Vladimir Putin's closest ally is making his moves. On one hand, Donald Trump is threatening of leaving NATO. On the other, he is fast-forwarding the Ukraine peace talks. While the West remains busy with the war in Ukraine, China is striking the metal when it's hot. Xi Jinping is in mission mode. He knows he needs to act fast, because Trump is not like Joe Biden, and the United States is not the same as it was 5 months ago. Donald Trump means business, and Xi Jinping is aware of that. Donald Trump knows that Vladimir Putin can be convinced for negotiations, so he's shifting his focus from Russia to China. Despite calling Xi Jinping a good friend, Trump has imposed more tariffs on Chinese goods. The US president also sent his trusted aide to the Indo-Pacific. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth visited the Philippines and Japan. It was his first visit to the region, and he publicly called out China for its aggression in the Taiwan Strait.
America is committed to sustaining robust, ready, and credible deterrence in the Indo-Pacific, including across the Taiwan Strait. Japan would be on the front lines of any contingency we might face in the Western Pacific, and we stand together in support of each other.
He then announced that the United States would increase the number of troops in Japan and set up a new war command in Tokyo. All of this to counter China.
America's warriors stand shoulder to shoulder every day with their Japan Self-Defense Force counterparts. Our forces operate and train together across all domains to uphold deterrence. America and Japan stand firmly together in the face of aggressive and coercive actions by the Communist Chinese. I want to announce that the Defense Department has started phase 1 of upgrading U.S. Forces Japan to a joint force headquarters. This upgrade will improve our ability to coordinate operations with Japan's own Joint Operations Command, or JJOC. And we certainly welcome JJOC's establishment this past week. It's more urgency, it's more cooperation in real time. It also increases our readiness to respond to contingency or crisis, support U.S. operations, and help Japan and U.S. forces defend this territory.
That wasn't all. Hegseth also pledged more support to the Philippines. In fact, his visit to Manila was welcomed with large-scale military drills by the US, Japan and the Philippines. These drills took place in the South China Sea. The exercise took place around the Scarborough Shoal. It's an atoll in the West Philippine Sea, just 200 kilometers away from the Philippines, and China has been illegally controlling it since 2012. The participation of American and Japanese navies showed that the two countries stand by the Philippines. So Trump made the first move. He is recommitting American support to the region. Japan and the Philippines are America's most trusted allies, and this has left the Chinese Communist Party fuming. Hegseth's visit, along with the drills in the Indo-Pacific, started a chain reaction. Beijing was quick to respond, and it came in two phases. First was wolf warrior diplomacy. The Chinese Foreign Ministry slammed Hegseth's visit to the region.
国家市场监督管理总局就此表示
The U.S.-Japan military security cooperation should not target third countries or harm regional peace and development. The U.S. uses the so-called China threat as an excuse to provoke ideological confrontation, incite division and confrontation, and even instigate certain countries to act as cannon fodder for maintaining U.S. hegemony. Regional countries should be vigilant and take precautions against this.
Then, Beijing went after Manila. China warned the Philippines and asked them to stay out of the Taiwan Strait.
台湾问题是中国的内政，是中
The
国
Taiwan issue is China's internal affairs and the core of China's core interests. How to solve the Taiwan issue is the Chinese people's own business, and others are not allowed to make decisions. We advise the relevant people in the Philippines not to provoke and play with fire on the Taiwan issue.
And then, the muscle flexing began. China launched large-scale military drills surrounding Taiwan. Warships displayed a naval blockade of the island. Hundreds of fighter jets breached Taiwan's air identification zone. China then threatened Taiwan and called the island's President Lai Ching-Te a quote-unquote parasite.
China's joint military exercises serve as a serious warning and a strong deterrent against separatist forces advocating Taiwan independence. They are legitimate and necessary actions to defend national sovereignty and safeguard national unity.
China said these drills were meant to send a message to Taiwan. Beijing says it stands firm on its commitment to reunite Taiwan with China. But Taiwan feels differently. Taipei and the Taiwanese people are in no mood to bow down to China. When China began its drills around Taiwan, the island went into war mode. Taiwanese fighter jets were scrambled. Taiwan also deployed its warships to track and counter Chinese maritime drills. The airspace and maritime waters around Taiwan were buzzing. But the streets, they were calm.
I'm used to it because drills have been going on for a few years. We have been seeing news about China circulating Taiwan for many years and their military activity. So it is no longer a surprise. Let's see, they have been doing that for a while. What can we do?
Meanwhile, Taiwan is happy to see Donald Trump back in office because he has resumed the delivery of the F-16 fighter jets. The deal was signed in 2019 during Trump's first term as president. The US promised to give Taiwan the F-16 Block 70 fighter jets. Those are the most advanced and lethal versions of the F-16. But Joe Biden's administration delayed the deliveries. That changed this year with Trump back in office. The deliveries have now resumed. Taiwan will receive 66 F-16 Block 70 jets. It will give the island major offensive capabilities. But will that be enough to counter China? For now, Taiwan needs to buy time and hide its strength.
Greeting you with aloha and namaste.
I love India.
Presence, occupation of a territory by another country pertains to India, what we saw in Kashmir.
How do you see Trump's America?
Yes, the current administration behaves differently from the previous administration.
Are you saying that there are foreign powers who are trying to bring down the current government in Syria?
Exactly. Bluntly, Iran, maybe Russia too.
Prime Minister Modi committed to South-South, cooperation.
Not over 50%.
Is Ukraine prepared to pay the price for that peace?
No compromises at the cost of territorial integrity and sovereignty.